Hey Comets, welcome back, and I can't believe this is our last video for this semester. The time has gone by way too fast. Now today, no, I am not making a gingerbread house, but I bought this kit. I'm hoping to make it with my family over Christmas. I thought it looked like a lot of fun. But what we are making today are Gingersnap Cookies. Now, Mrs. Ogle's class, there were quite a few students in there who gave me the idea. They wanted me to make gingerbread men, but that's pretty involved, so I thought I'll make Gingersnap Cookies instead. So, what I have already mixed all my dry ingredients. I have 2 cups of all-purpose flour. I have a tablespoon of ground ginger. I have 2 teaspoons of baking soda. I have 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. And then last but not least, I have half a teaspoon of salt. Now what the recipe calls for, I had to sift it 2 times. So what I did at first, I mixed all my dry ingredients in my bigger bowl, sifted those. So I just put my sifter in the bowl and you pour all the ingredients in that way. Did that once. Then what I did is I took everything from the big bowl and I sifted it into my smaller bowl. A lot of sifting in this recipe. So you sift the dry ingredients twice. So there are my dry ingredients. Now in my big bowl, I have already whipped up, this is shortening, and I use Crisco. I don't always use shortening, I use butter a lot more. People really don't use shortening a lot anymore. But the recipe I got it online. It is from a woman whose family has had this recipe since 1899. So for over 100 years they've been making this recipe, and I thought, you know what, I better stick to the recipe. So this is 3/4 of a cup of Crisco. That is 1.5 of these little bars. So 1.5 of these, 3/4 cup. I've already whipped it up, so now it's nice and creamy. I am now going to add 1 cup of sugar. Oh, and there's my oven all ready to go. So, I have 1 cup of sugar going in with my Crisco. And I'm going to mix this all up together. Okay. Okay, so my 1 cup of sugar is all mixed in. I then have 1 egg, and again I took that egg out about an hour ago so it could come up to room temp. So we have 1 egg, and then, let me get this mixed up first. Okay, so my egg is mixed up, and then the last thing I'm going to add, this is 1/4 cup of dark molasses, and this is what it looks like. So 1/4 cup of dark molasses. And it doesn't really smell that great, but once it's baked into something, ooh, it's pretty good. And it gives the ginger snaps that nice dark coloring. Okay, so my 1/4 cup of molasses, that is going to go into, let's get this off here. Okay, so here's how I'm looking so far. And I don't need my mixer anymore, done with that. Get all of that off of there. Okay, my flour and my everything, all my dry ingredients, we're going to sift 1 more time. I'm going to put about 1/3 in. Okay. And I'm going to sift that in to the Crisco and the sugar and the egg and the molasses. Okay, that's all in there. Now I'm just going to stir this all together. I'm going to make us a nice dough. Okay, it's already looking like cookie dough. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit more in, sift a little more in. This really, by sifting it, it really gets all of your ingredients mixed in together really well. And like I said, this recipe has been around since 1899. I'm not going to mess with it. I'm going to follow it exactly. Okay, the last bit is sifting in. So we're done with that. Okay, get all this mixed in. Whoop. Getting a little messy there, Mrs. Stanley. So thank you again to the kids in Mrs. Ogle's first grade class for giving me the idea of ginger, which I love. Okay, that is all mixed together. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. Now on my ungreased cookie sheet, get that flour out of there. So you don't have to grease this at all. I'm just going to take a little bit of the dough. You know what? I need a different spoon. I take like a tablespoon. And I'm just going to roll it into a ball. Okay? Little ball like that. And then what I have here is I have some cinnamon sugar. And all I did was mix in 3 tablespoons of cinnamon and 3 tablespoons of my white sugar. So you're going to make it into a little ball, and then we're going to kind of roll it in the cinnamon sugar. All right, so there's my first one. And these, you want these to be about 1 inch big, so you don't want them too big. Okay. And it is a little bit sticky, so they're not a perfect ball, but that's okay. And I'm just going to sort of pop them in there. Okay. So that's about 2 inches apart. So I will do the rest of these, and I'm going to put them in the oven. I preheated my oven. I forgot to tell you that. I preheated my oven to 350 degrees. You're going to put these in for about 10 minutes. Okay? So I will get the rest of these done, pop them in the oven, and then I will present you with the finished product. I'll be right back. Okay, my cookies are out of the oven. The oven was at 350 degrees, 10 minutes. I went maybe 10, 11 minutes. Here are some of my cookies. Now, Mrs. Stanley learned something tonight. I made my first mistake. Yes, I've never made a mistake before, and this is the first one. I learned that a stick of butter and a stick of Crisco are not measured the same. I was right when I said 3/4 of a cup of Crisco, or shortening. Butter, and butter is what I normally use, 3/4 of a cup is 1.5 sticks. 3/4 of a cup is not 1.5 sticks of Crisco. So, even on the Crisco, it says 3/4, you don't even use the full stick. So, like I said, in my recipe, 3/4 of a cup of shortening or Crisco, not 1.5 sticks. So my cookies came out a little flatter. Whoops, and slide off easily. Yours probably will be a little more rounded, and I bet the cookie dough won't be as sticky. Mine turned out pretty sticky, and I couldn't figure out why it was so sticky and why my cookies weren't more rounded until I realized. But that's how we learn, isn't it? You make a mistake and you learn from it. So next time I make these cookies, and I'm definitely going to make them again because Brian liked them even though I made them incorrectly, I am going to know that 3/4 of a cup of Crisco isn't 1.5 sticks. Oh well.
Oh, I have a joke for you.
Oh, Kate has something for us.
What do you call someone who steals gingerbread men?
What do you call someone who steals gingerbread men? I don't know.
A crookie. Okay, I have one more. Who is the most dangerous cookie?
Who is the most dangerous cookie? I don't know.
The ninja bread man.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. So, I hope you like baking these. It really is a pretty easy recipe, so I definitely am going to make them again. I hope you all have a wonderful winter break. Stay healthy, stay safe, and we will see you, hopefully, or we'll see you online in 2021. Have a good holiday. Bye, Comets.